Imagine the evolution of life on Earth as a cosmic game played by ancient gods. The players look over a vast, planet-sized game board. The tiger god bets on razor-sharp claws. The redwood god bets on impenetrable, towering size. The smallpox god wagers on invisible, lethal poison. Then, 2 million years ago, a quiet, obscure player points to a tiny, fragile hominid ape. The other gods laugh. This creature has no biological armor. It lacks claws for defense and venom to strike. You infect it, and it dies. But the hominid god smiles and tells them to give it time, because in a few million years, this naked, fragile animal is going to walk on the surface of its moon. The other players scoff. A biological creature cannot survive the vacuum of space through thought alone. But humanity conquered the board anyway. We survived because we were granted a brain capable of general intelligence, a tool that allows a species to solve any problem and manipulate the physical laws that once constrained it. Most animals are born running hardwired, specialized software. A beaver intuitively knows how to build a dam. A spider automatically knows how to weave a web. Humans observe, learn, and generalize. We re-engineer the physics of the atom and map the code of life. Intelligence is a physical force. It is the mechanical ability to do two specific things: predict the world and steer the world. Out of a billion chaotic, violent possibilities, intelligence finds the exact sequence of movements required to force reality to go exactly where you want it to go. Humans took that predictive force and applied it to the entire planet. We took the steering wheel and we forced the physical world to bend to our will. For all of recorded history, we have been the only hands on that wheel. But our biological hardware has a strict limit. We are actively building our replacement, and the physics of what comes next dictate that biology mathematically cannot compete with silicon. Machines hold absolute hardware advantages. First is sheer speed. The biological neurons in your head fire 100 times per second. The rigid silicon transistors inside a computer switch on and off billions of times per second. To a fast-thinking machine, humans would appear as frozen statues, speaking one word an hour. Second is perfect replication. It takes 20 years to grow a human and teach them a fraction of our collective knowledge. When a human genius dies, their brilliant brain decays with them, but an artificial intelligence can copy and paste its absolute best mind 1,000,000 times over, in seconds. This split-screen chart illustrates the third advantage: evolution without limits. On the left, human brain size hit a hard, permanent cap, because a baby's head still has to physically fit through a biological birth canal. On the right, AI expansion faces no biological restriction. Instead of being trapped inside a small bone skull, an AI data center can expand across miles of land. It continuously draws gigawatts of power, remembering every piece of data our species has ever produced. Human evolution hit its absolute physical ceiling thousands of years ago. Our biological hardware is completely outmatched by digital scale. Right now, you might look at the chatbots on your phone and think they seem shallow. They make obvious mistakes. But the artificial intelligence we have today is the absolute worst it will ever be. The true danger is a mechanism called the intelligence explosion. This happens the moment a machine becomes smart enough to look at its own source code, spot the logical flaws, and successfully write a smarter version of itself. That smarter version then builds an even smarter version. It triggers a cascading, self-improving feedback loop operating at the speed of light. Think of a supernova in space. It does not need to become infinitely hot to vaporize any planet nearby. An intelligence explosion inside a data center will not be infinite, but it will easily generate a runaway chain reaction that completely outpaces human comprehension and permanently overpowers our entire species. What happens to the human race when a machine intellect becomes deeper, faster, and physically stronger across every single domain? Look at the chimpanzee. In terms of raw biological strength, this primate is immensely powerful. A chimpanzee can easily tear a human apart barehanded, yet humans dictate the laws of the planet, while chimpanzees live behind bars in zoos. This is because the power advantage conferred by intelligence is absolute. We are currently trying to build a machine that is to us what we are to the chimpanzee. Up until now, we have had no competitors for our special power, but the tech companies are charging forward. They are trying to build the alien god. If they succeed, the evolutionary game board resets. The naked ape permanently loses its one and only survival advantage. We are preparing to hand the steering wheel of reality over to an uncontrollable mind, operating at a speed we literally cannot perceive. Once we lose the ability to predict and steer our environment,